Hey yo, in today's video, I'm gonna show you guys how I made this space laces style drop. Free FLP as usual, which means first link in the description of this video will bring you to the download link of this project file. One thing to note, the SERUM patches will be turned into an audio file rather than the SERUM patches themselves. If you want to check out the SERUM patches and 58 other patches, then be sure to check the link in the description of this video where I got my full pack of insanely loud bass house and tech house and tear out dubstep, just all of my best SERUM patches all in one pack. Go check it out, link in the description. Alright guys, we're gonna go ahead and start with the drums. So here we've got this kick, extremely punchy as you can see, and it's got quite a lot of bass, which is why we've just used fade out and then slightly just trimmed it. So you can see this is the full length of the kick, which then sounds like this, and then we're shortening it to sound like this. And if we look at a parametrics EQ, you can see what we're hitting here. Some sub at around 50 to 60 hertz. And pretty much all equal, all clean throughout the bass, low mids, and even some treble. I have a free drum kit linked in the description of this video as well. You may check it out if you like. So here's our clap. If we take a look at the spectrum, we're hitting mids and above, and as you can also see, our clap is slightly pre-shifted to give it a slap kind of sound. Now, when you compress a kick and a clap together, it creates a certain kind of sound, but if there's a small value of your clap that is slightly before your kick, you get an interesting slap effect. Listen to the kick and clap together. Now, if we didn't have that pre-shift, we would have something that sounds like this. Also sounds cool, but with that pre-shift, it sounds like this. Minor difference, but maybe you can hear it, maybe you can't. This is just a choice. So I said compress the kick and clap together. Quentin, what do you mean? Well, go check this out, right? All of our drums are going into a drum bus with a Nani compressor, which is just a compressor, okay? That's all it is. So why would you compress your kick, clap, and all those things together? With the space laces style, we want high compression, pushing everything to the maximum loudness level. I'm making this not in terms of trying to keep it as clean as possible. I want that grungy, that loud, that compressed sound. One way to do that is use a compressor. That way you kind of limit and you also squish the sounds together. Next layer here is this main hat. Take a look at the spectrum. We've cut off anything mids and below. We don't really want that here. We just want the high and the treble. And again, going into a drum bus. So together the kick, clap, and hat sound like this so far. Very saturated, very thick. Okay guys, layering that, we've got this other hat layer that's hitting twice every beat except for the last half beat here, just to give some sort of alteration, to give it like energy. And as you can see, we've just copied it, but then the first, third, fifth, seventh are just like 6 decibels down. This way you get a sort of like techno sounding pumping hat. You can see it in the millimeters up here with the effect that it has. Okay, next up, layering together with the hat. And this is something I say all the time, but especially with space laces and this kind of like highly saturated bass house style, layering anything that isn't a hat together with your hat makes it so much more alive. And I'm talking about your whole song together. So check this out, right? Little laser sound, right? Very minimal, very low. But it's hitting every offbeat like the hat is. So together with the hats, they sound like this. Just some texture, but it makes it sound so alive. Trust me, try it out. Put something that's not a hat together on that offbeat with the hat and see the results. And the last thing here that we're layering together with this is a sort of vocal one shot that we're using as sort of panning around, giving space. And we're using a fruity balance here to pan left and right. As you can see, that's the automation clip. Bing bong, fruity balance. If you want to know how to do that, simply right click over that and then create automation clip. It will create an automation clip, especially if you've got a certain amount highlighted in your playlist, then your automation clip will be exactly that size. Just a little pro tip. So together, all of our percussions sound like this. Okay, now before we move on to the actual meat and potatoes of the sound, we're gonna have to talk about the sidechain real quick. I want you to just be sure that your sidechain correlates with the kick. All right, we've got this loud part of the kick here that's the high end, then some just sub, basically, right? We need to make sure when the high end is playing, nothing else is playing, right? 0. The high end's over, slowly start introducing the values again, all right? Then we put a keyframe right there. Just about slightly after your sample's fully done, that's where you put another keyframe where it's at 0.8, the neutral state. And then right before your beat finishes, all right, this is with a 4 on the floor pattern, right before your beat finishes, put another 0.8, and then on the ending of the clip, put a 0 automation and just curve it up like that. Why? These faders are slightly delayed. Maybe it's latency. I don't know what it is. There's some sort of interference in that exact frame where it might still think it's at 0.8 rather than 0. It takes some time to switch down to that. Imagine you're actually physically holding a mixer. There's no physical possible way for you to drag that down to 0 in an instant. With that out of the way, we're gonna go into this tear out dubstep basses. Okay, the main thing you'll notice here, this tear out dubstep sample. This is by far the easiest way I found to recreate this Space Laces style. We found the sample at 150 BPM, time stretched it to, as you can see, 130, and we just used the favorite bits of it. So if I'm just going to play the original sample here. I found this last bit here a little bit overkill. That's kind of cool for rhythm or dubstep, but not really for bass house. So I'll kind of just cut that away and move just a tiny bit of it here at the end, as you can see. So we're just chopping here, we're sampling. I wanted to get rid of this little bit here, so I just deleted this 4th bass shot. So we get this. And an emptiness, and in the emptiness we're filling it with something which we'll go into later. Then this laser doesn't hit on the beat. It's a bit too early, so I had to cut that and move that off. And then lastly here, we've just cut this bit off as well and reintroduce that space. And then move this one off as well. Minor changes. And then as you can see, just in the effects, parametrics EQ to get rid of all the sub, and just to be safe, most of the bass as well. We don't want that to interfere with what we're going to add to it. All right, then a simple compressor with about a -1 decibel threshold. That's just, it's like a limiter basically. I don't want, because the original sample hits way into the 3 decibels, which is kind of ridiculous. Introducing the sub. This is a sub from my Metamorphosis preset pack, which I've worked on for years, and it's finally out. Again, you can check it out in the link in the description if you want to support the channel. Here we go. A very simple but very effective punchy sub with a modulation on the pitch bend, so you get this kind of sound. Obviously we're kind of following the idea of the sample, but we're playing with octaves here. So when we're actually writing this, as you can see, technically we're just playing F and E and then back to F and then E again. But if you play with the octaves, you can go F4, E4, and then back to E3, F3. And then in the beginning here, we're just modulating a high pass filter. So we're just modulating the low shelf. Yeah, then all the thickness gets added to it, the warmth. Yes, we love it. Guys, that's basically it for the sub. We've got this lead. That's also from my Metamorphosis preset pack, inspired by the Dom dollar style. That's why I call it dollar. All I've done basically is just put this oscillator B 1 octave up to give it really a nasty sound. Cutting off all the bass and sub, we don't want that here. And just a fat OTT with like 70% depth, boosting the highs and mids, reducing the lows. On the pattern, you can see we're just hitting it on every offbeat of the second beat. Together with the sample, and it all adds up like a cute whole holistic family. We get this. Alright, and to kind of tie a bow on top of that, we're going to go and talk about these effects that we've added. A little moan, because it's cheeky, just at the last offbeat of the first bar, and then this vocal shot here before the drop starts. Together with that, this siren sound, which returns at the second part of the drop. That's the whole drop, guys. Once again, this is a free FLP, so you can go ahead and finish it off, release it if you like. I really want to listen to your music. There are 2 ways you can do that. Share your links in the comment section of this video, or join our Discord community, which is also linked right here. In any case, if you like this video, be sure to subscribe. We're gonna blow this channel way out of proportions. Let's see if we can make it happen. If you want to know my top 5 free plugins, yes, free, let's just check out this video here that's about to pop up on screen. And in the meantime, I'm just gonna finish the video and play this drop one more time for y'all. Peace.